guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I had to take a break, personal reasons. Well, I'm back, finally got another project vehicle, but to give you a quick update on some of the projects that we've done in the past. The Cabriolet, as you remember when I started the channel with, I had to let that go. Wasn't able to finish that project, had a lot of other things going on, so had to say bye to that. The HHR, as you remember, was a project I was building for my nephew. Well, we had finished that and gave it to him for his birthday. He'd gotten his license, been driving it, no issues with it whatsoever, so that's one good happy ending on it. And this is the new project. This is a 2003 Honda Pilot. I'm not sure if it's the LX or EX, I think it's the EX. This is the 3.5 V6, all-wheel drive, third row seating. Some of the things I'd sent the update on Facebook about was things that I've already done to this car. This is a different hood, obviously, you see different colors. The original hood was really rusted out through here. Every time you opened the hood, you stuck your hand through the rust hole in the bottom of it. So I was up at the local pick apart and found a good hood, swapped it out. Still have to get it cleaned up, sanded, painted, whatnot. So that'll be in one of the videos coming up. The headlights, they are very dingy, so you've seen some photos on the Facebook page. These have been polished out and stuff, cleaned up. This one was the worst one. It's still got a little yellow tint to it, but it's not as bad as it was, so I'm very happy with that. When I originally got the vehicle, the ignition had been ripped out of it. Person took the plastics, took the whole tumbler and stuff out of there. Problem being is this car has a chipped key. So I was able to go up to the local pick apart and found replacement plastics, new ignition mod or ignition switch with a key that matched it. Since the transponder still had to be programmed and I haven't wanted to go to a dealership yet and get another key programmed, I opted to swap the transponders from the original keys to the one I got from the junkyard. That means that I now have the key for the doors and I have the key for the ignition. Both of them are different. The key fob works, so it locks, unlocks, sets the alarm. So it's not so big of an issue to me personally. The interior is in really good shape. Super clean, still got the original Pilot floor mats. The original radio did not work. This here was the original radio. Problem being when the batteries, this thing sat for a couple months in the lot of where it worked. This was an old company vehicle. Problem being is that when the batteries go dead in these things, you have to put in a code, which is usually in the book or located in the vehicle somewhere. I didn't have the code and this thing got locked out, so it was bricked basically. Wasn't worth anything. Obviously it doesn't have Bluetooth or anything. CD player, tape deck, you know, kids these days wonder what the heck a CD is, so everybody streams music off their phones. So went to Walmart, got a El Cheapo touchscreen, threw in it. This is mounted on factory brackets right now. I had to get online and order the actual mounting bracket for it, but that'll be in and I'll have video of us putting the actual mounting bracket in. I actually might put in a backup camera too, just as an extra feature. We'll see. Side. This thing is actually in really good shape for the body, being 2003. I mean, it's what, 17 years old now. So there's a couple spots I'm gonna address. There's a bubbly rust spot. We will grind that out, clean up the rust, treat it, and we'll probably get that, I don't know, we'll see if we can do some filler in there, probably some fiberglass, strengthen it up. It's a, like I said, 17-year-old car, it doesn't have to be pretty. There's also another rust spot down there we're gonna take care of. We're gonna sand up and repaint the back bumper. They bumped into something and splintered the paint. You see it's chipped off. We'll get that all taken care of. I can't go around the back side, but it's got some work to do on it, but overall, I think we can do it. Now this vehicle was bought to basically be a flip. I got a really good deal on it. So I'm going to do some maintenance on it, replace some, I think I gotta do a wheel bearing on the back. I'll probably do sway bar end links, stuff like that. Nice tune up on it. Do some cosmetics, paint the new hood. Today's episode, we are actually going to start doing a little bit of the body cleanup. You can see right here where the paint's kind of, splintered and chipped off. They bumped into something, and so I was able to go to AutoZone, and they have the color matched for Hondas, and this is the exact paint code of this car, exact. So I was tickled pink about that. I also got some scratch filler primer, like a high build primer, so filling some of the micro scratches in, and we got the protective clear coat. Now, I could go to an auto body shop or a paint shop and actually get a quart of the actual paint for this, but I'm gonna try out the small cans of paint since it's the same paint code, and try it out on this little area here, and if it matches good, we will do a couple of the other small areas and work our way around. And the hood, I know it's a different color, so the idea is take the hood off, clean it really good. The underside of the hood would be painted with a basic silver paint. Nothing fancy. Clear coat it, because you're not gonna see it, it's gonna get dirty. The top of the hood, if this paint right here actually works really good, then we could buy, I don't know, probably wanna take 3 or 4 cans of that at least. After this hood is, a couple of little dings and dents are fixed, we'll sand it all down, prime it, and then paint it with the silver just so it matches close enough, and we'll go from there. So let's get started on this little project right here. So the idea, I'm going to tape off around the bumper, tape underneath the headlight, this general area around it. I don't intend on painting the whole bumper cover. I'm going to try to sand down as much as I can where I need to, and see if I can feather in the paint a little bit, and then when I get ready to, I can clear coat it the same way, and we'll see how that works. It's the best I know what to do right now, just to save a little bit of money on redoing this whole bumper cover. Doesn't seem worth it to me right now. I mean, this is just superficial paint damage, nothing crazy. So hopefully we can get this taken care of and get it sprayed in, and hopefully it looks and matches somewhat decent. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to look a little bit better than that. So the idea is just, I'm gonna I got 120 grit on the DA right here. I'm gonna sand over, try to get some of this rough paint off. Then we'll go back over it with a finer grit sandpaper to try and smooth it out a little bit. And then we put in the high build primer to fill in any of the micro scratches it's caused by the sandpaper. And then I'll do a wet sand over top of that. And then once that's dry, we will try to feather in the new silver paint, and then we will clear coat it after that's dry. So let's get started. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's nice and smooth. I got down most of the chips and everything. All the cracking has been, and I didn't want to spend too long in a certain area on that bumper because otherwise you start burning through the plastic. Because once it gets through the paint, it starts to eat into the plastic bumper cover. So got that sanded down. Like I said, my idea is not to paint the whole cover. I'm gonna cover up the headlight, tape it off, and it's kind of just a fade in the paint, primer, and then we'll wet sand it, and then we'll hopefully be able to get that all put in there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now we will, I'm gonna go over it with a lighter grit sandpaper real quick. I think I got some 320 up there, which is a lot lighter than the 120 I was using. And then we will wipe this down with some prep oil, wax and grease remover. We'll get this headlight taped up, and then we will go from there. Okay, I got 2 coats of the high build primer on it. We're gonna let this dry. I got a fan here blowing on it, let that dry. And when that's done, I'll look at it and decide if I need to put a 3rd coat on it. If I don't, I'm gonna go ahead and wet sand it. And then we'll let that dry again, and we will start with our silver and see how well it matches. Okay guys, here is the finished product. So I had 3 layers of the high fill primer, which once it dried, I wet sanded it down. And then after I wet sanded it down, wax and grease removed it. This is 3 layers of the color matched paint out of the spray can. And then after that is dried, I put 3 layers of the clear coat on it and let them dry. So this is kind of the final product. It's not 100%. I mean, you got to understand this is 17-year-old paint, so slight difference on the side, but I mean, you gotta understand this is 17-year-old paint. This is kind of blended fresh paint, so I'm gonna call this a win. Compared to what it did look like, it's got a little bit of a shine to it to kind of match the original paint, and then once it weathers in the rain and stuff like that, you're not going to notice it as bad, and it's a lot better than having that big black mark there where the paint was chipping off. So overall, I'm going to call this a win. Thanks for joining me on this video, and hopefully I'll start putting out regular videos. I'm not sure on the time frame of it. It's just when I get around to getting stuff done, and when parts come in. I got some parts on order for this thing. Thanks for joining me on painting the bumper cover. So I'm going to do a couple other spots on the front bumper cover, so I don't think I'll film them. You know what I did on this one. And then I'll show you the final product after I get it done. When we get into the back and start addressing the rough spots, that's when I'll start, bringing you guys along. And then when we start getting into the mechanical stuff about it, replacing wheel bearing, rear shocks, sway-bar link, stuff like that, you guys can come along for the ride. I'll bring you through the whole process of this whole vehicle up to the day I sell it, and we'll kind of go over a price point of what I bought the vehicle for, how much money I put into it, and then how much I made, and we'll go from there. So please, if you haven't, hit the subscribe button if you want to keep up with these videos. Hit the like button if you liked it. And if you haven't, jump over to Facebook and give our Facebook page a like, and I'll see you later.